Yeah, they're building a Panasonic, a massive battery production facility a little bit down the road, and the state is giving them 20 years with no property tax.
Yes,
There's
I just
massive
Well,
tax incentives to get these countries to these companies to move into a country.
Yeah, that was all. That a lot of that was Biden, by the way. The
just
Chips
don't
and Science
understand-
Act and Inflation Reduction Act
I
both
just
like
don't
subsidized battery production, and battery production is really important. It's a national security issue, which is why I want it to be
I didn't
here.
hear the
Black Monday, the stock market actually crashed in 1987 more than it did in the Great Depression. Unlike the Great Depression, you know what the Fed did? The Fed printed a ton of money and injected a ton of liquidity
the
into the
Fed
market,
enacted?
printed millions, okay? And we
1930.
avoided a recession because of it.
You have no issue with stealing from people or demanding that you get what you want.
Well, I mean,
Well,
on the
recession
contrary,
steals
I would
from
say like a
people.
recession causing 10% unemployment would also essentially
If
be
you-
stealing
if
jobs
you
from
had
those
had
people
any
who otherwise
assets
would have been
then,
employed.
you
But
might
Said to be more general now that I think of it, tax the rich, right?
But how long are these businesses going to stick around? Keep taxing it out of them.
Nonfon looks like the poster child for never getting laid. Flow State just got on
dare it.
bond from
if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support the channel, and I'll make sure to reply.
Actually, you know what really had me has had me hacked on for the last couple of years is I've spent six figures in income, or I've paid six figures in income tax the last 10 years, every year.
Right.
Ew.
And if you think there's anything that hurts,
Flex
more than
harder,
that,
motherfucker.
Huh?
Wes Watson down here with all these
Yeah,
flexing.
you're making a substantial amount of income still, so it's like
So it's like, why not
World's
give it?
smallest
to
Oh
us?
yeah,
We
okay. All right.
deserve
So,
the
so
money.
let me run this argument by you. So you make, let's just round number 750 grand. You pay the government, or they take $180,000 away from you, and you're still supposed to be happy about that. Is
Yeah.
anybody in this panel going to be happy about that?
The poor.
Well,
Well, I mean, if I
also
feel like
put
I'm
that
getting
in-
something good out of it,
Do
then
you-
maybe.
yeah.
Put
you
that into
appreciate civil
perspective
infrastructure?
Put that into
Do you like
perspective.
civil
If you're making $200,000 and they still take that 25%, right? And
Well,
like that's still
It's marginal
hurts.
brackets.
Yes, but it's still I consider like a quarter of what I make to be gone, right? Anything I make, I could just consider a quarter of it gone between state and federal taxes. And so it hurts on any level unless you're in poverty level, right? Then you're actually getting more back. But essentially
Not
it's
always.
it's like nobody wants to give their money away.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I understand
really
that, but
hate
also
that.
like
Almost
Trump
anything
wants
has to
tariffs.
be
Tariffs are
$1,000 New
regressive
York
taxes. Like,
I pay New York State $50,000 a year on the average. I mean, none of this makes me feel good. I mean, it's a sore spot. With
You strike me as a type who loves the government, though. Who
greedy
they
never
are
money
your
to buy
Well, I'm,
comforter.
I'm a small government person.
Yeah.
I despise most of the government.
Other than
appreciate-
abortion rights, when it's abortion rights, everybody wants to be government again, right?
I'm sorry, what?
nobody.
Oh.
It's like
As-
everybody
as a
wants to
control
call
and
government until it gets into somebody's vaginas. Then everybody wants to be government again.
Nobody wants big government, fatty.
Yes.
I do want in some vaginas though.
wow, nice one.
That's
Send
okay.
nudes,
Everybody
send
wants
somebody
small
who
government, but then
probably-
as soon as they see the vagina, get in there. Go ahead.
I'm
That's
just
somebody
a
who,
small
like,
government
having-
and a big vagina.
But at any rate, since I paid so much in taxes, I feel I gave at the office, so I don't donate to any campaigns.
That's actually good. Great.
Well, I have a place you can donate to if you feel the need to donate.
Nice segue, Sarah. Nice segue.
Speaking
That
of
was
donations,
slick. That was slick.
the segue is actually good. And it's fine. Great. I'm sorry that you don't have enough money to buy books for your kids after paying taxes, but Trump is going to fix all of that. Thanks, Obama.
Well, if anything, I hope he brings back the tax breaks that he gave the middle class that Biden got rid of right off the rip, because that'll help, people that are in my tax bracket. Because
I
even
know
What
that
tax
was the
cuts did
thing,
Biden get
bro.
rid of?
They'll
The
take
Tax Cuts and
Wait,
Jobs
wait.
Act is still in effect, and Kamala Harris was in favor of
Yeah.
extending them for people making under $400,000 a year. I don't know what tax breaks for middle class people you're talking about.
well,
You
the
really
one,
only
where
did.
the one where I was getting $3,000 a year per child tax credit, the one where I was getting $10,000.
You realize Biden
tax-
expanded the child tax credit too, and Kamala Harris was also in
Dude,
favor
you
of
realize
expanding
I
it even more
filed
than
taxes
Trump.
and I didn't get none of those credits at all last year. So try again, buddy.
Well, because we extended it temporarily during COVID.
I will say that
And Kamala Harris wanted to make it
like,
permanent.
my tax returns took a big hit over the last few years. Like we were getting $20,000 to $30,000 back a year, and then magically it drops down to like barely 10. And I was like, "What the hell? Did I miss something?" And there was just a bunch of shit that no longer counted. Now I don't know.
We even had a new kid to add to our taxes, and our taxes still were 2/3 less than what it was the year prior.
Yeah,
I got a question
it's
for
weird.
any Trump fans in here. If Trump created the same type of money out of thin air that Obama did in 8 years, which would lead to enormous inflation, if Trump did that shit in his short 4-year terms, when does that inflation, when would it leak into the economy and take effect and your prices would go up?
Well, generically, when you print money, the inflation's fairly rapid after.
What do you consider rapid? Years?
Delayed 4-year.
Well, it depends on where the money goes, right? Like quantitative easing is almost never going to cause so much inflation as a stimulus check is, because the velocity of money given to banks by quantitative easing is so much lower than the velocity of money given to consumers through a stimulus check. So it depends on the velocity.
I wasn't thinking stimulus checks. I was thinking more of that money that he gave in tax breaks and big pharma. 6.3 trillion or so.
Tax break, they do things with those taxes like hire people and buy new equipment,
which is inflationary. You know that, right? What you just said is that when you decrease taxes, you increase aggregate demand. That's inflationary.
That's they kind of buy back their stock so they can get even more money from the stock market. That fallacy that they say
exactly. Yeah, we're gonna hire more
tax
people.
Cuts, they are going to hire more people. No, they're going to create robots, so you lose your job in the next 2 or 3 years.
Trickle down economics. I thought we proved that doesn't work.
It's not a zero-sum game.
Rachel?
Well, we know Trump's talking about tariffs, right? So you tariff foreign exports, imports into the States. You start building your own factories here, so you don't let the car factory be built in Mexico. You build it here in the States, and that starts generating jobs. People feel that right away. The people in the service industry are going to feel it right away when they're not being taxed on their tips, because that money is a lot of times that comes in the form of cash.
Okay.
For those that use it, they'll leave
Do
the
you
money.
really think?
Wait. First of all, we acknowledge tariffs are regressive taxes, right?
I want her to finish, please.
Yeah.
I think she was done.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Nonfon.
We acknowledge that tariffs are regressive taxes, right? They tax poor people more than rich people. You acknowledge that, right?
I don't know enough about it. I know that the language around it, because I'm no economist, is that it was based on the policies of McKinley. So rather than getting money through taxation, it was coming through the money on tariffs brought into the country.
Who do you think pays them?
Put across.
Who do you think pays the tariffs?
Exactly. Who do you think pays
Who
them?
pays the tariffs? The foreign nation pays on it.
No, the consumer. The
We
consumer
pay it.
is going to get the bill because
U.S.
if they don't get
businesses
their
and
margin,
consumers
I
pay
know,
them.
but what happens is that because it becomes so prohibitive to buy, you buy American over and above it. We've got a global economy where you get undercut because there's kids in Asian countries and Africa and this sort of thing getting, mere pennies to produce shirts and goods and this sort of thing. And then, of course, the American auto worker, what were they making? Something like $49 an hour. I mean, that's prohibitive. You can't compete at that. So there's got to be a means of fair wage, but for the people, but not excessive. I mean, otherwise you're undercutting yourself. You can't be competitive. We can no longer live in this debt-based system that constantly creates. And what's the national debt at? And how's it? And it's growing at what, every minute or some bloody thing.
So, but you
Well,
think that
those are
not
the two
going
things
to-
I wanted you
so
to
you think
acknowledge.
that
One is that
I'd like one at a time, please.
So my question is, do you think that Trump is not going to keep printing money like crazy and raising the debt ceiling every time they need? Like, you really think he's not going to do the same thing?
Well, we have to see what he's going to do. I don't know. I don't have the answer, Fatty, because I'm not an economist.
His best predictor what he's going to do in his future is what he did in his past, which is print a lot of money out of thin air.
Yes.
But hold on, you got to be genuine here and admit to the fact that the only reason why a lot of that debt was printed was because of COVID.
Well, I love that
No,
argument.
it's irrelevant.
Any
There's
president would have signed that bill.
It's
We've been
not
doing this
irrelevant,
well-
Patty. You
well
just can't say
before
it's
COVID.
irrelevant. That's
No,
No,
I
that's-
say that
you can't
is
say that.
I think
irrelevant
that's
because
relevant. What do you
every
mean?
time they have to raise the debt ceiling so they don't default, they will do it either Republican, Democrat, or whatever. So
Well, that's
you're
because it's
using
probably
the shit against-
it's
you are using the
unconstitutional
shit
to
against- You are
default.
using the shit against. You
Guys,
are
one
using
at
this-
a
let me finish.
time.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Please.
You are using this against Democrats when you know Trump is going to do exactly the same.
No,
Like he's going to do exactly. He's going to keep
fatty.
printing money, and
Fatty.
he's going to keep raising the debt
No,
ceiling.
fatty. I was sitting here talking about the national debt as a whole, not Congress.
I know. I want to. I want to go back to
so they can
tariffs, but
stay in
they
session.
moved on.
So the debt ceiling, by the way, for the people saying that this is only because of COVID, that's been going on since the 90s. The raising
Yes,
of the debt.
that's
ceiling.
true.
It's also
Well, I would
probably
say it has nothing to do
unconstitutional
with
to
the
default.
debt
The 14th Amendment probably does not let us default.
What I stated had nothing to do with the debt ceiling. It had everything to do with the fact that
Grumple, do you want to swap places with me, my friend? I gotta get inside. My wife's gonna yell at me, which
That's
what
almost
she
never
said. That's what
happens
she said.
because I'm a,
Are you not inside already?
I'm
I
in
know.
my airplane shed. There's a airplane on the other side of that wall, but
That is pretty cool. I wish I could stare at an airplane while I stream.
well, there's a wall there, but
Yeah, me and Flo on the other side of that wall, still in your airplane.
I wish I
as
could
you speak.
imagine an airplane being on the other side of a wall. while I stream.
I built this room for my wife to use as a home office during COVID, and then she doesn't use it anymore, so I turned it into my studio.
That's what I was saying. What the society and the in your chat, you do understand we only use tariffs until the 1920s. What they'll cause is for them. This is my understanding is that then the tariffs are there. People can afford it. It provides an opportunity for American business to compete so that we can build product here rather than depending on foreign countries to develop these products, right?
No, it makes them less.
You're
Right,
kind of
now,
correct, but I
we-
think tariffs do a really bad job at
Hold
it.
on, let us
done.
hold
I
on.
just-
Here's
done.
hold. Oh, stop. Let me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Rachel finish. Then I'm gonna let Grid do his exit because Grid, you want to go right, and then we'll go back to you, Mal. Okay.
And this is why Trump is talking about producing oil because a lot of that was stop the pipeline. One of the first things Biden did was stop the Keystone pipeline from going. So that'll create a lot of jobs, thousands of jobs to be created through that and prosperity because now you've got raw product to sell and you'll be make money off of that you can export.
By the way, Grid, I'm streaming from my boat.
So, Grid, to you to make your exit as you feel.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah, thanks for having me. I apologize that I can't stay longer. I gotta go to somewhere tomorrow
That's
on a
okay.
flight, and so I got to go to bed. You guys have a great evening.
Yeah, I know, Chris. I just don't want. I don't care about the pipeline
channel
rabbit hole
anytime
right
if you
now. It's just
like.
not something I enjoy arguing. It's such a waste of time.
In my place, we'll have Grumple, Stillskin, and maybe somebody else come up so that
Ticky Tax behind you.
Tiki Tack.
Yay.
Tiki Tack.
Good to see you, Grid.
I'll watch on my phone, but as long as my wife doesn't catch me.
Don't let your arms get tired
Aw.
flying.
Well,
No, I'm
go
kidding.
enjoy some family.
She's not that
time.
bad about it, but she does. When it's her time, it's her time. So
Understood.
you guys have a great rest of your night. Nonfon made some
Thank you
good
so much
points.
for the sub.
I think he's his model of economics are a little off, but that's okay. Nobody agrees on economics, so it's a great thing to argue about. So.
If you guys want a 1v1, I'll have you on my channel.
Thank you for the thank you,
Let him
Jack
know.
No,
Darko,
I
for the
don't.
sub. I
I don't
appreciate
do
it.
1v1s much anymore.
Damn.
But thank you, Melanie.
No worries.
You know who would though is that guy on the other side of me, Flow State. Flow State loves to argue.
I
He
do,
loves-
but not necessarily with that Furby.
He hates.
Oh wait! I
Furby.
forgot.
Wow.
Totally that was not intentional. I swear to God, I just if
The Furby.
You just set up that burn, didn't you? Nice. You floated that one over the plate.
you guys, I gotta go. You guys,
Oh
is
my
why they
God,
say
you
we have
all
a
Adams.
bromance
If the
grid.
Chips and
Bye,
Science Act gets
Grid.
repealed, I will shoot
Thanks
myself.
for stopping by. And Ticky Tack coming in. And
What's up,
shout
y'all?
out to T.O. with the big 2 and the tomatoes. We love tomatoes. To the chat, can you just light up the chat with tomatoes, please? That would make me a really happy girl. Tomatoes everywhere, please. Thank you.
Or if you're feeling extra subversive, you can do foxes. So, Rachel, I just wanted to say it'd be great and all if Trump's tariff policies actually did that. And in theory, like at first, it could keep American businesses within the country, but the medium range projections are never good if you look at what economists say. Also, just point out, it just on paper, it doesn't make them competitive internationally, because all it'll do is raise the price of the cost of doing business internationally for American companies. And so international companies will start doing business with countries and other nations that don't have as high of tariffs.
Exactly.
Tariffs don't apply to our exports.
Well, the tariffs do essentially tax exports because you appreciate real exchange rates, and you also have the chance of retaliatory tariffs as well. So they do hurt exports
yes,
as
and
well.
the countries are going to retaliate. They're not going to just say, "Oh, okay, okay."
Well, first of all, even if there's no retaliation, you still appreciate exchange rates, which still hurts U.S. exports.
One of the beauties about America is there's so much potential in raw material, raw resources, lakes, rivers, forests, mining. All these things are available, and of course, advanced technologies. So there's so much capability and potential, and that's the idea of the Make America Great plan: is you bring all that in, start manufacturing, building, and putting people to work. I think it's a great plan.
Well, one, I don't think tariffs are particularly effective at that.
Those jobs are not coming back, respectfully.
We do have an example already of tariffs getting the. It's also, Sarah, thanks for bringing me up. I don't think we've talked before, but I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an example with Toyota. Like, we can't have, because of the chicken tariff under LBJ. That's why we can't have the Toyota Hilux or the Mahindra mid-sized diesel pickup truck in the United States. Small trucks are tariffed at 20%, I believe it is. Might be 25. Somebody check me on that. There's still definitely a tariff on it. It was under importation of chickens, and somehow light-duty trucks got rolled in because the VW minibus was eating Detroit's lunch. So that's the only piece of it that's still in effect today, and that's why we have Toyota trucks for the U.S. market being manufactured in mostly Texas, some in Mexico. The Tundras started out in Indiana, all in Texas now. You got Tacomas being made in Texas and Mexico, all NAFTA, now USMCA territory, so that they can be imported without that tax. The Ford Transit or Sprinter, whichever one theirs is, they import that as a passenger vehicle with full seats and glass in the windows, and then convert them after they're imported
Michael,
to
it's
avoid that
wild.
tariff. So you got some companies going around it, some companies that brought manufacturing, and it's pretty big. I mean, Tundras is a Texas truck. It's a Texas truck. They're manufactured in Texas.
And can do all those loopholes and turnarounds and all that. The medium and small business, they'll still have to eat those tariffs, while they can say, "I'm going to change my factory to this place so I can get the supplies." No, most people actually import shit. We are hyper dependent on China, Taiwan, Vietnam, whatever. So you don't want that chain of production to be impacted in any kind of way, because you're going to have to eat that shit. So
in the short term, yes, 100%. That's short-term pain for long-term gain. If you want to make like a bumper sticker slogan out of it.
Not really, because when you keep American like production and manufacturing like all closed loop within the states, then what happens is the prices start to go up as businesses compete with each other, to the point where it becomes cheaper again to actually just pay the tariffs and start going back to international trade.
Why do you think that?
I mean, we have evidence of this from washing machines. Even the washing machines were tariffs for I think 5 years, and immediately after the tariff ended, we just started importing from China again. Even though we tariffed washing machines pretty heavily for 5 years, they were never able to compete domestically. And also, you have to consider, like, you guys keep saying it protects jobs or whatever, brings jobs back. You're not bringing aggregate jobs back. All you're doing is protecting some jobs over other jobs. Tariffing steel might protect steel jobs, but it comes at the cost of jobs for all the businesses that use steel. And it's the same. You can look up the Iowa car crop. It's the same for everything. Like, tariffs protect some jobs at the cost of other jobs.
Right.
There's something
the
I
whole
find
economy is
interesting.
intertwined. It also, I mean, you also have the paradigm where, with income being distributed around for workers, right? Which industry is going to employ more? It's a very complex interweb, but both presidents were planning on raising revenue, either through tariffs or corporate taxes, right? So it's preferable to have neither of them, but that's not really what's on the table. Unless
The
I
bigger
would
question is
so
who's
much
gonna
rather have a
better
corporate
use-
tax than tariffs, and
Oh,
I'm
no.
not even a big guy in the
Absolutely would be
corporate
worse.
tax.
Absolutely would be worse. Because tariffs, a 20% flat tariff, which is stupid and ham-fisted. Not everything we consume is imports. That's going to get dissolved throughout the economy for the end user. A flat corporate tax rate affects every single thing sold here.
And
Flo,
small
who do you
businesses
think-
that don't import things.
Who do you think is more likely to survive a tax hike, like corporations or like middle class businesses?
It doesn't
and
matter.
firms that rely on
That's the
international
wrong
trade?
question. That's the wrong question.
No, it's the
because
right question.
that
You can't just say
assumes
it's the wrong
that
question.
the shareholders are going to eat the tax.
No, I
increase.
said nothing about
You're
shareholders.
not going to.
I said nothing. No, I said nothing about shareholders.
I know
I
you
said
didn't.
who has more room to handle a tax hike.
And it's wrong because that money's always going to trickle down to the end user.
I don't understand
Longer.
why.
It takes longer if you do it at the corporation.
No, it'll be faster with a corporation because they're going to start raising prices immediately.
Yeah,
And
but
then
that's,
with
not, but
tariffs?
that's actually but that's actually not how it works, kind of, Flow, because
No,
there's
that's what
Apple
that is.
products and Coca-Cola products in Europe. They pay way more taxes here than they pay in the United States, and they still sell Coca-Cola probably
All
the
right.
same price. they're
Corporations
Kamala
using.
was almost
usually
certainly
Let me
going
ask
to
you
protect
this.
unions
Here's-
more, considering
here's a
Biden has a
good
pretty good
measure.
record
Taxes are
with
implemented.
unions.
What has
is
the
it?
stock market done since the election was decided?
You don't value the stock market on days, but yes, it went up. Yes, a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
So-
also reached all-time highs under Biden and Kamala before. I don't know how responsive
So,
it is.
who do you think is going to be impacted? How do you think the economic impacts are going to be? Like, because these are business people, right? Buying and purchasing and trading this stock.
Stock is speculation.
They're all
all of these was speculation.
Everything we're talking about is speculative.
No.
Who's going to use their
No.
financial
The
advisors?
final
better?
price is not speculation. Like the final
what's
price of a product is practical. You see the product go from $1 to $1.20. The stock market is literally it's manufactured. Like there's no reason for a stock to go from 1 to 1.5 other than enthusiasm. That has nothing below it. Isn't the,
Right, and that's all I'm calibrating. Is I'm calibrating the economic enthusiasm. If tariffs were worse for the economy than a flat corporate tax, people would not be enthusiastic.
No, they would.
I want
Why?
to work.
No,
I
why
want
You
would-
can have
would
stock
people
in
be
foreign
like-
companies.
So
You
this
can
is
have
this
stock
is
in
this
foreign
is a
companies that
fallacy.
are now more competitive.
Yeah, this is a fallacy that we talk about, right? We say, oh my God, Apple.
fallacy?
If we increase the taxes to Apple, they are going to raise the prices and they're not going to be competitive. And then
What
Apple
fallacy is
goes to
that?
Mexico. They get more taxes and the prices are the same. They come to France. They get more tax and the prices
I don't
are the
know.
same. They still opening stores.
Where's this story coming from?
No, I'm telling that these multinational companies bite
Correct.
the dust every single time they open a new store in another country, even though they're getting way more tax in Canada than they are taxed in New York.
No, that's not them biting the dust. They clearly have an incentive to move. They're making an economic decision. Probably they get
But that's
tax,
the point.
probably
But
they get tax free for a period of time.
No, they don't, and that's exactly the point.
We
If
just
these
had a
companies-
Panasonic battery plant move in down the road from us. They're
No, that's
sitting there
fair.
for
No,
20,
that's
for
fair.
20 fucking years tax free.
Might be local
manufacturers
taxes.
move.
Like the
Yes,
business doesn't pay property tax or something.
Wait, what did you
There's a
say
lot
about
of
the
deals that happen
batteries?
like that.
Shout out,
Plant.
just a quick shout out to Milk Cow for the $3 super sticker. Thank you so much, Milk Cow. Moo to you. Back to you, gentlemen.
Did you
I'm
just say you had
just
a
saying
battery plant move in?
Yeah, they're building a Panasonic, a massive battery production facility a little bit down the road, and the state is giving them 20 years with no property tax.
Yes,
There's
but I just-
massive
Well,
tax incentives to get these companies to move into a country.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was all.
understand-
That a lot of that was Biden, by
I
the way.
just
The
don't
Chips and Science
understand-
Act and Inflation Reduction Act
I
both
just
like
don't
subsidize battery production, and battery production is really important. It's a national security issue, which is why I want it to be
I didn't
here.
hear the beginning of what you said.
Me?
It's because of Biden.
Wait,
The CHIPS Act is what
why,
drove
why
that.
are batteries?
I'm
a
not.
national
I'm not thrilled
security
about
issue?
it. The reason I'm not
Batteries are
thrilled
a
about it
national
is because
security
it's
issue
right in my
because they're very
neighborhood.
important for
Yeah,
drones
I don't give
and
a fuck
other
about
military
national
equipment.
security. I care
Uh,
about my neighborhood.
I'm actually Nonfon. Could you repeat?
They're very important for drones, which are really essential for a modern military, and there's other military equipment that uses batteries as well.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think the
Well,
power grid is along the same lines, but even more important.
Also, phone
Substation
telephone
components.
technology, cell phone, smartphone technology. so they can put chips in there from China, cause problems because, they can be, they could possibly switched off from a foreign country can actually knock your battery out because they've put a non-off switch in it. And in fact, this is what Israel did. Remember a couple of months ago when all the Hamas guys were blowing up because they got a third party to go in and put these explosive devices in their cell phones or in it wasn't cell phone, in their pager technology. Yeah. So this is why these kind of technologies become national security issues. Imagine if an aggressive foreign entity had control of that in our technology and was taking out our people.
Well, yeah, and that's why we have Taiwan that manufactures all these chips. And what's funny is that they actually have like detonation switches on the manufacturing equipment, like in case that they get taken over, they'll like blow up all the the proprietary knowledge and crap.
Here's what's interesting: like this issue centers around energy independence, and Trump is like the oil and gas candidate, but if you look at like coal jobs during the Trump administration, they went down 24%. So how does you're obviously going to be sourcing your oil and like energy from like other nations, especially like Canada and like the tar sands and stuff like that. I just don't think he can commit to his national protectionist rhetoric that he claims to be such a fan of. I think that was all populist rhetoric.
Well, you know what's great about
was that during the plague though? During like starting to all the lockdowns and stuff?
No, I don't know what you're talking. He was saying this. He's been saying he's the oil and gas candidate the entire time up until like recently.
You know what's great though for all of us is that because he is the president elect, when he gets in there, we're going to see, aren't we? And then we can reconvene and said, hey, remember we talked about this on the panel, and you were talking about tariffs, and that you'll be able to point to and say it didn't work at all, did it? And then I'll be at that time go, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so, I guess I'll see you in 4 years. Can't wait.
Sort of like how now we're saying, see, it was just the flu, and they're all like, whatever.
And we got to reconvene also in the war situation. It'll be very easy to talk to our friend from Central America, in a few years from now, when we see what Trump's able to do on the national stage. And it depends. I mean, it's a global economy. It's a global situation. Everybody's entwined with one another. There's so many variables. I mean, the Fed is so interesting. The chairman of the Fed, anybody watch that news item where the Fed said, I dare Trump to fire me? He can't fire my
I love Powell. I love Powell. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's problematic because you've got this agency independent of the president.
Nope, that's very good.
Yeah, you want some
we don't want the president to be in charge of any agencies. Like that's definitely
for example,
not the central bank, not monetary policy. Don't put him in charge of that.
No. President should be in charge of the central bank, of Congress, of the judges, of pretty much everything.
The Department of Justice and Bank president.
Yeah, right? The problem. I mean, is there any problem with the Fed? Are they able to artificially heat up the economy or cool it down?
That's kind of their job.
In response to trying to meet metrics for inflation and unemployment.
It's a private company. It's a private company.
And do they have any dealings with the central banks?
It's kind of like the post office. It's like it's not federal, but it is.
It's way more private.
It's not.
For sure. Do you have an issue with private companies? Are you a communist, Flow State?
That is not.
There's more nuance to it than that, for sure.
So Nolan in the chat, the Federal Reserve is not a good thing, especially since it's owned by private quote foreign owners. Is this correct?
I don't think it's owned by foreign owners.
It's owned by member banks, so there's nothing. The shares that ownership will be all over the place.
Is it offshore? Is it non-American ownership?
No, so the Federal Reserve banks are owned by the member banks in their charter. Basically, commercial banks own the Fed collectively, but who owns commercial banks is
that's my next question.
Yeah. So we don't really know.
There's also, some appointments are still made by the president, right? Like obviously the Fed chairman is made by the appointment is made by the president.
So it's not approved, right? I believe
nominated and then approved by the Senate. Yeah.
Right.
So it's a bit of a
the Fed is a leech on the country. You understand that, right? The Fed is a leech on the country.
Nope, I don't think so at all. Have you heard of Black Tuesday? Or no, Black
Tell me
Monday.
about Black Tuesday.
Black Monday, the stock market actually crashed in 1987 more than it did in the Great Depression. Unlike the Great Depression, you know what the Fed did? The Fed printed a ton of money and injected a ton of liquidity into the market. Printed millions, okay? And we avoided a recession because of it.
We avoided a recession by stealing value out of the existing dollar pool.
I would rather, quote unquote, steal value out of the existing dollar pool than suffer a recession. I would rather 2% inflation than a recession.
Thieves, you have no issue with stealing from people or demanding that you get what you want.
Well, I mean, on the contrary, I would say like a recession causing 10% unemployment would also essentially be stealing jobs from those people who otherwise would have been employed.
You might have felt differently.
If I what?
Do you realize that when a recession happens, people get broke. They go broke. They're super poor. They're homeless. That's stealing from people. Whatever you're talking about is minimal in comparison.
Let's talk about the Depression. You know, the Great Depression happened after the Fed was enacted.
Yep, but we're still on the gold standard, right? I don't think the Fed had a good enough response because macroeconomists were really bad at the time.
What would a better response have been? We were still
a more Keynesian approach, printing a ton of money, probably suspended the gold standard. I think we did suspend a gold standard eventually, but
yeah, and in fact, it became illegal to own gold except for like a wedding ring, I think.
Okay.
Did you seriously ask what the Fed should have done after he just said that we avoided a recession by printing money?
Yeah, we should have insured deposits. I don't think the FDIC existed back then.
We're talking about two different time periods, Mel.
Yeah, Doug. That's what you've been talking about this whole time. You keep wanting to keep pulling out examples from like the 80s and the 20s.
All right, so
and like, okay, sure.
So the Fed holds the purse strings, right? Because our money gets put into the system through basically spending bills.
Basically,
which necessitates the Treasury take money out from the central bank at interest.
Yeah, so it's a debt-based situation.
If the central bank says your loan is denied,
well, they can't.
The government
do
shuts
that.
down. So you want to have
they're a lender of last resort. They don't do
have
that.
have entire control over the federal government's actions.
The Fed is a lender. The Fed is a lender of last resort. The Fed ensures. The Fed ensures that the Treasury market clears. That's one of the primary roles of the Fed is ensuring the Treasury market clears. They're a lender of last resort. They can raise interest rates, but
to their member banks, not to the federal government. They're the primary lender to the federal government.
So we have a problem.
Yeah, because they make sure the Treasury market clears.
This debt-based system, right? So every time that money is printed, then the resulting consequence of that is inflation. Isn't there a 1-to-1 correlation with that?
It's complicated.
Well, I understand.
But you know what's not complicated? It's never going to be worse than a recession.
Well, it could, in theory, be worse than a minor recession.
Currency collapses.
Yeah.
I'll take Nonfon's word on that. He knows what he's talking about.
Is a bear market?
Are there advantages to going back on the gold standard? Is that even possible?
No,
it's not.
I don't think there's major advantages to be had there.
I think it's a nothing burger because it's not like private citizens could go and audit Fort Knox when we were on a gold standard.
It'd be fun to try and to see people try.
Like all money is fake anyway, right? Like we just made that up. So it doesn't really matter if there's a metal associated with it or not.
People trying to go, like individuals go and audit the Fed, that'd be like, hey, let's go check out Area 51. Everybody, this day, let's go.
So the reason I ask, because kind of on this, again, with this global market, we know the World Economic Forum has been pushing this thing they call the Great Reset because there's so much debt being incurred, and with the runaway inflation, trillions of dollars we're talking. So if they do a reset on all this, almost like what the Bible talked about, the year of Jubilee, where we all go back and start again from nothing, right? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard. That's exactly what
the World Economic Forum is. A bunch of like rich, dumb white dudes like jerking off in a room every couple of years. The Great Reset is talking about a shift into stakeholder capitalism, where they want to try to push for companies to care more about like the externalities of their business in areas like pollution and stuff. So it's to get them like more invested in their community and
I'd like to hear Rachel finish the concept of the Jubilee thing, please.
Well, it's just the idea that with the Great Reset is that basically it's tied into sustainability, their word. So the environment, these sort of environmental programs, 5-minute cities, the whole idea we're seeing, like everybody's got bike lanes in their towns being built up, all this sort of thing, alternatives to fuel, get us out of our cars because the carbon that they produce is bad for the planet, and section off areas, designate green areas, 5-minute cities, so everybody can get to all their needs without hurting the environment that way. Tax, what do they call it? Carbon credits for governments.
Carbon tax based.
System, so so this is what they're talking about, and it's not just the suits. There's political entities like King Charles of England has spoken at the World Economic Forum. We had John Kerry speaking at the World Economic Forum recently. And he was talking about the control over digital media and getting control of that. It's very interesting. I mean, some of the ideas they have, alarming for people on my side of the political spectrum. But I'm just
should be something
other people's take on it, right?
What should be more alarming, if they have any negative policies, I don't know, because I don't think the WEF is influential directly. They just suggest things. The IMF actually hands out funds to nations in need. They are run by the UN, but they're actually like giving out cash. So their prescriptions and stuff like that could have a direct influence on nations that
they are not giving out cash. They are lending cash with massive interest when they get bad. Portugal in 2008, Portugal got saved by them, and it was like 10 years.
Sorry, I missed loading cash. All I'm saying though is that like America is not really like beholden to any like international financial institution. So whatever policies they're prescribing, they're not going to be able to like push these things as an agenda on a nation like America.
So, but Melanie, this is the thing, right? People think that recessions and global crises are a problem. It's actually default. It's how this works. It's how these people get extremely amount of riches in a short period of time. Like all the metrics that you have in 2024 are 10 times worse than when you had the financial crisis in 2008. All the metrics that you look at it, they are way worse than they were in 2008. The only difference is you think that's very bad. These rich people think that's awesome because that sells for them. Every time.
No, I agree. Capitalism's bad. I agree.
100%. No. It's not that it's bad. It's on purpose. The machine is supposed to work that way.
That sounds bad to me.
Every 20 years, every 10 years, there should be a massive reset so these people can accumulate the most power and money that they can do. Because
there's a cycle of bear markets. That doesn't mean all of them are recessions. Like
we're not talking about bear markets. We're talking about financial.
Rachel, bye. Pardon me for just a moment. Rachel, would you like some final thoughts before you exit?
Yeah, just a lot of fun and a really good panel, a lot of knowledge here, certainly more than I have in the world of high finance. I'm no economics expert or whatever, so lots to learn there. But I just, obviously, whatever we have right now is not working, right? We're all paying a lot. The nation is so rich. Everybody should be prospering so much, not living hand to hand, dollar to dollar kind of thing. That's got to be fixed. So whatever it means does it. I'll leave it to greater economic minds than I have to work on that. In the meantime, I'm looking for some subs because I've really gone all Trumpy Bear, and I have a vinyl community channel, and so I've had about 50 liberals bail on me. So if we got any mega people, you want to come over to my place, do it. And I'm exhausted, I got to tell you. But here's a link to my own channel. I know Nightbot helps me out all the time here, Sarah. And so please, so if you want to watch, we just talk records, and I annoy everybody by saying how great Trump is every morning. I think that's going to do it for me, Sarah. Thanks again for having me on. A lot of fun. Fatty, you look good. Look going. That's a winning look.
Hey, by the way, Rachel, next time buy the full ad, okay? Don't buy, like, if you need a loan, like buy the whole thing. Don't buy
I got the buzzer. I like gosh, I like that. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Thanks so much.
Great to meet you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Take care.
I forgot to ask her if she bought a Trumpy trout.
I don't have a Trumpy trout. I just got my two Trumpy caps. I got 2 of them. There we go. All right, everybody. Yeah. Take care. We'll see you next time around.
Good night, Rachel. And then a quick shout out to Nublet with the big $2. Hi, Miss Tomato. Just passing through. Hail Crucible. Yes. Thank you so much from the Crucible crew. We appreciate you. And I just have to do a quick overlay because we have Nathan. Nathan, is that you, darling? Hello? Nathan.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Yes, we hear you.
I'm fine. How are you?
We're good. We're not going to show any things that we shouldn't be showing on panel, correct? No penises, no boobies, no porn.
What the fuck?
Oh, man. I'm not a fucking degenerate.
Well, that's I didn't
Wow,
make
that pause
him.
though.
Definitely not a coon.
I think he has a delay actually. Nathan, do you have like a bunch of other tabs open or something going on? Because it seems like you have a delay going on.
I just want to talk about how much I love the Fed, man.
Or maybe he's listening through the YouTube instead of the StreamYard.
No.
I got my general theory here.
Do you have the stream open?
Yeah, probably the YouTube.
Pristine pages.
Yeah, you might want to close that out because you're on StreamYard and there's a good 10-second delay.
I have read a little bit of this though.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
This is very boring. I don't know what they're doing right now, Jason.
Nathan, are you still with us, darling?
Is that better?
There we go. Is that better?
Is that better?
Go over and check
Much
this guy's
better.
computer. IT go over and check this guy's computer. Apparently we
I
need
hope.
to.
That cool.
I haven't read
All
all
right,
this
Nathan,
stuff
I'm
because,
gonna
like,
say I'm gonna count down.
Is
from
that
10.
better?
Nathan,
some
stop
of
talking
these.
for a second. I'm gonna count down from 10, and when I stop counting, I want you to pick up the counting. 10, 9, 8, 7.
6, 5, 4,
definitely-
3, 2, 1.
So there's definitely a delay.
Oh,
There's
no.
a good few seconds in a delay. Why don't you jump out of the StreamYard and then you can come back in and maybe make
Look at
sure that everything's closed
Look
out
at this
because
propaganda.
there's a
Output inflation
significant
trade-off.
delay that is going to
Greg
cause
Mankiw will
issues,
have you
okay?
believe that there's a output inflation trade-off.
So I'm
What
going to
the
remove
fuck?
you from the stream. I want you to jump
No
out
problem.
and back in. All right.
Propaganda.
Houston, we have a problem.
Phillips curve ain't real.
That was a
Sarah,
big
if I may-
delay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was fucking genius. The counting thing, that was
I like
very,
that
I
very
saw
clever.
somebody else do it actually. I forget who it was, but somebody else, they were counting forward or something, and I was like, oh, that's really smart because there's a cadence to it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
We
I'm,
count
I
to
guess
5
less
and
impressed
we
now.
say-
You should have just taken credit for it. But
I'm okay with giving credit. I don't even remember who I saw do it, but they did it. I was like, oh, that's really smart. I'm going to
We
use
usually
that.
count to 5 and say when you hear 5, say pineapple, because people know.
Pineapple.
Yeah, I never got the countdown thing. That is, it works too.
Of course you would have problems counting, Fatty.
Because the countdown it might be just because the person is not that smart, right?
Well,
But
but
if you
it's,
say,
it's the cadence. It's the cadence, right?
But if I
People
say I'm
can
going to count
understand.
to 5, when you hear the 5 say pineapple, that's actually
Or it's like, you know, I'm gonna start putting my hands together, and I want you to start clapping along with my hands. You know,
I think there's a little bit
This is-
too. What if you have fat arms?
if,
This is turning into a field sobriety test. It's like
Yeah.
stand on one foot and touch your nose.
True.
Next.
But
oh
I
goodness.
was saying it's not about bear markets because they're necessary. It's about creating gigantic bubbles and bursting them at opportune times to get what they need to get. And like China is playing with that with the real estate market. They don't want to be the blame for the global crisis. Probably the Biden administration didn't want to be blamed for, so they push it with their belly up front to the next one, and then the hot potato is going to push the next one. We're going to see who actually is going to get that. And the part is, if it bursts during the Trump administration, there's two scenarios, and nobody's going to take accountability. It was less administration fault, so it burst on my time, but it's not my fault. Or I had to do it because the last guys fucked up everything, so I had to burst the bubble so I can actually correct this and make this work. So nobody's going to be blamed at the end of the day, and everybody that is rich is going to become richer. Everybody that is poor is going to lose even more.
like Rachel was saying, and I know she's not here, but she just said it on her way out, and so it's unavoidable, that she wants to see the prosperity trickle down. And like to me, in my mind, the only way you can do that, and Trump is the least likely candidate to do this, is corporate taxes, because they're the ones hoarding all the wealth. There's a reason Occupy pointed to the 1%. Maybe there's other ways I can't think of. Like I'm certainly not as smart of econ as
Land value
Nonfon,
tax.
but okay, cool. So there are other ways, and when I say
how long are these?
I should have just said, to be more general now that I think of it, tax the rich, right?
But how long are these businesses going to stick around? Keep taxing it out of them.
They will always stick around. Apple is not going to file bankruptcy because they lost $3 billion. They are going to keep going and going and going and find the ways to make up for the money or have less the profit.
That's right.
You realize it's also expensive to move to another country, right?
Well,
Let me,
the issue is we do like origin-based taxes.
Pardon me for just a second. Now that Nathan is back, Nathan, I'm going to count down again. 10, 9, 8. Nathan, are you with us?
Womp womp.
Nathan. All right, I'm going to go ahead and remove. We're going to call that a night for your phone or device, whatever you're using. We'll have to come back another time.
Killing me. I was gripping my the edge of my seat the whole time.
I get more nervous. Like I don't think Nathan's gonna do it, but I get more nervous when they're quiet. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, please don't.
Yeah. Some heavy breathing starts happening.
Yeah.
Please don't make me need to stop the stream. Please. Please.
Please.
Please.
Please. We've had such a good night.
Just on the taxing a little, I think a big issue is that we do like origin-based taxes where we like tax based on the origin of where the company's located. That makes it really easy for companies that basically are in America to say, no, we're not an American company just because all our production is in America and we sell everything in America. We're actually based in Ireland. I think a really good fix for this would be a destination-based tax, specifically a destination-based cash flow tax, okay, which is just a better way to do the corporate income tax, because right now, the big issue of corporate taxes is that some of the burden falls on corporate investment. You don't want any tax burdens to fall on investment because investment is really good. A cash flow tax allows for the immediate expensing of all investment. So we should do destination-based cash flow tax. Look it up. Republicans call it a border adjustment tax. It's based.
Are you thinking in a tiered bracket type method, kind of like progressive income tax, earned income tax?
Honestly, I would not have a problem with a cash flow tax be
corporate
flat.
taxes generally penalize smaller business entities because they just can't deal with as much volatility in operating. The increase in operating costs, additional taxes and regulation hurts smaller businesses.
So actually, another really good thing about the cash flow tax is that
on that maybe
you tax cash flow. If you have a negative cash flow, you get taxed negatively. So you might get a tax credit for next year. So if a small business has a negative cash flow for a few years, they won't pay any taxes until they actually become profitable, and they can use up their tax credits before they pay any taxes. It's awesome.
In my defense, I also said I changed it to tax the rich once I realized I was being too specific anyways.
The rich are taxed, okay?
Tax them more.
Why not eat the rich?
No one ever stands up for the richies, okay?
Are you saying we don't need the rich? Because
everybody hates the rich. Do you have the courage to hate the poor?
No.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, okay, listen. I hate the middle class more than the poor, but, you know.
True.
I'm not brave enough to be
tax the middle class.
I hate you too.
Double what we currently do.
To be smart and then act stupid would be like a bravery I'll never know. I'm sorry.
I have no words.
I used to be poor and I hated every minute of it.
Same.
Oh yeah, you hate being poor.
Therefore, I hate poor.
That's
what if
one
there
way
were
to
no
look at
poors?
Gemini.
You're working for when everyone wants to tax other countries, pass the raising prices to the customer, but the last thing they want to do is raise these $1 trillion companies a little bit of taxes. you know you're working for when that's the last resort. Everybody is not afraid of like trade agreements falling off, not afraid of your resources getting. Oh, everybody drinking? Then let me get my juice. Everybody's getting. Everybody doesn't is not afraid of the prices rising, but when it comes to the companies, oh my God, poor companies. How are they going? How is Apple going to make iPhone 17 next year if we tax them more 5%? I can't believe it.
Well, they're gonna relocate all their intellectual property to Ireland.
Thank you, Carter.
And they're still
Why
going
buy
to
an iPhone anyway.
And they're still going to pay what? No tax? Like what are they paying concretely in taxes?
Way more than the defense industry. I don't know.
By what? By percentage? They're probably paying less taxes than you.
Well, sure.
Businesses are taxed on profits, essentially.
Oh, absolutely.
And on capital.
Yeah.
And when most of your
profits, not revenue, right? So
and when most of your profits are literally speculation, and they are stock market that you'd never close positions, you just keep buying and buying and buying and buying, and you don't pay to the owners of those, like you don't pay salaries to these rich people, like you can always get away with it, right? Because most of these companies' value is not on what they produce, is on the stock market. That's why when Jeff Bezos got divorced, he had to pay his wife with stocks. Why didn't he pay with like assets or real money? He paid with stock because most of this value of this company is speculation. And that's what they actually like. They don't like to create new jobs. They like to reinvest and buy back their stock. These already making him a tremendous amount of money. I'll do the same.
The stock is what like finances investment and creating new jobs is the thing.
It's supposed to protect against taxes, and then also with the stock, it keeps up with inflation by increasing your dollars. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that they're keeping them in stocks.
When you say protect against taxes, do you mean like evade taxes?
But you keep talking about trickle-down economics,
as soon as they
creating
sell the
jobs and all that.
stocks, they have to pay capital gains tax. So
If they don't close positions, they don't pay nothing.
So if they were to accrue interest off of their stocks, they would actually be having to pay more capital gains tax over time by pulling the money out, and we're actually profiting more, allowing them to accrue interest on their money.
We're profiting more as in like we're making more money from taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't.
No, you're not. How does that work?
Because when you sell stocks and you accrue money, you have to pay capital gains at the end of the year.
So, but how do we benefit from letting them keep buying, never closing positions, never like you don't benefit nothing from it because you're not going to see the money.
Because if we were to just constantly tax their current stocks that are in there, the stocks would never increase in value, and so there would be no incentive for them to jump into stocks.
And it would kill investment.
Stocks only really accrue on average about 10% per year, and the tax policies that you're wanting to put in there are 10% or more. So there would be like no incentive for them to put it in stocks at that point, and the market would just crash.
No, because there's brackets. They are not taxing the first million, the first 10 millions, the first 30 millions. They're taxing you above a certain threshold. It's not 10% flat on everybody. It's 10%
based off
above
income, though. That's based off income and revenue. This is not stocks. Stock markets are a completely different tax.
No. So they are not getting taxed, right? Because they don't close positions. The people that actually are proposing them to be taxed, they are not saying every time you close a position we're going to take 10%, 20%, whatever. They are saying,
but that's how it is now.
Huh?
But that's how it is now.
Yes, you are explaining the system now, right? When people say we should tax the rich, it's not a flat every penny you get such and such and such. Is you are going to get, I don't know, $1 billion, and after $1 billion, you start getting taxed 50%, 40%.
But now you're just moving the goalpost to some sort of income. We're talking about stocks right now.
No, any tax the rich policy would be bracketed income based.
Yeah, Kamala.
I'm not getting our disagreement because I agree with you. Maybe
earned income or capital gains income, or royalty income.
They don't get no salary. Those people get no salaries. That's the loophole.
They're all different types of income.
And I was trying to connect what Fatty seems to be a loophole and what I see as a loophole to what Ticky was saying is tax protection.
Yeah, to a degree, yes.
Okay, so again, like we're all still confused as to how that benefits the American public.
Because as they have them in stocks,
we all have our,
it's
somewhat divided between like general Kamala supporters and general Trump supporters. But everyone's basically arguing their own tax policy right now.
If you, instead of just them immediately taxing $1,000 worth of stocks, just because of a new policy, instead they don't tax any of it. They let it grow into interest to $1,500, and now you can tax the $1,500 on the capital gains tax. So allowing
if you're also worried, why can't we stop them from doing that? Because that sounds like a loophole. And then
this is a
we're
great
not going to
thing,
tax.
But it's because this is a great thing. They're creating more money, and we're able to tax more money.
It's a great thing if you're already rich.
No,
I love this conversation.
Anybody can invest.
Great.
And the government's getting taxed out of stocks. It's like when you sell the stocks, the capital gains tax come out of it, and if whoever invested accrued interest on his money, then he's going to have to pay more taxes.
Right. So you pointed out that a 10% tax rate would demolish like this entire kind of market, right?
Yeah, because on average, you only make about 10% interest on stocks per year.
Right. So what if we're only taxing like the 10% on the ones that make 50% back on that year on what they made or something like that? Something above a certain percentile, so that way we're not just taxing every single person with a stock.
Just so we're clear, are we talking about unrealized gains right now or something?
Yeah, are you saying a 10% unrealized?
Unrealized.
Talking about unrealized gains taxes? Okay.
This is unrealized.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, by the way. Don't listen to anything.
So unrealized gains are the gains that you achieve in stock without selling them. The realized gains is when you sell the stocks and you've come out of it with a profit.
Unrealized gains she's basically trying to pitch is like that, average like 10% rate, like we're taxing like 10% of that, we'll say.
But the thing is that, yeah, I know she's going back to explain that what if they make 50% for the year? Well, if they decide to sell those stocks, then they would have to pay a capital gains tax on all that profit that was made.
Okay.
Ticky tack. Hold on. Let me interrupt real quick. And I'm still gonna stay on the tax talk. I'm not changing the conversation. I didn't come to do that because this is the type of talk you have post-election. You're damn right the right person won, because we wouldn't be talking about all this damn money. So apparently the right person won, because we all talking money. So I'm glad that we're all in agreement with that, regardless of how you personally feel.
Hey, my portfolio went up 30% today.
There, see, that's what I'm saying. You could have hated the man yesterday, and you.
How much Dogecoin do you have, sir?
But look, Ticky tack. Let me say this real quick. So you're right when it comes to the capital gains tax, but I will say this. People who do that, they're smart, because what they do is they take out their money and they immediately dump it into something that's going to give them a loss so they can write that off and break even, right? You're not going to get this capital gains tax and go splurge on some stupid thing. You're going to put it into a house, something that you can get your money back. You're going to do it in a home modification. If you're a company, you're going to put it in buying fleet vehicles for your staff. Like, there's ways to get around this capital gains. You put it in something that you're really going to get a loss, right?
It's called tax harvesting, that strategy. But
yeah, exactly. And so that's all I'm saying. So that's why I'm not worried about that. The people who do it, they do it well within the strategy, as you just mentioned, Grumple, right? Tax harvesting. So there's ways around that. We're talking about the regular American who doesn't know that, and they came up on some penny stock, made 100K, blew the 100K, and the government's like, I need my 30 just off of regular taxation on top of the capital gains. And they're like, damn, I'm 50 in the hole. Yeah, you go figure that out. I didn't ask you what you're in the hole. I just said pay me. So that's a different set of people.
They don't even have to be lucky off of penny stock or anything like that. Just with me, it's like I've had an IRA for about 13 years. So I've just been investing a little bit of money into that. Or like my mortgage, I'm actually putting more into the principal so I don't have to pay as much interest. There's simple things you could do to help your life along.
Are you going to take that out when you retire, though? to avoid the penalty? Because it depends when you're pulling that out. That's another aspect of it, right? If you have that, that's long gain. So you're not doing it. Once again, you're not facing those same taxes because you're like, I'm going to pull it out at the right time where I can walk away scot-free. So, you know, it depends what your strategy is.
Yeah. And may I just point out, Ticky, can I just point out real quick? Sure. Ticky, I hope that works out for you, by the way. Because personally, this isn't supposed to be like I hope it works against you, but I do think like the fact that the market is speculative, and that's where we're seeing all the value rise as a result of the election of Trump. It's also going to kind of like cause a lot of spending in the market that isn't accounted for, and like with real kind of like financial backing, and that's probably going to bring the stock market in, not into like a crash or anything, but it's going to cause it to dive afterwards. This is just kind of what I've seen happen.
Isn't this a response to tariffs, though?
Well, no.
I'm hoping that a lot of us has learned from the 2007-2008 subprime loan crash that the stock market is solely based on confidence, and the idea is that we should not move out quickly whenever we see a threat ahead. We should just keep stable and keep going with what we have.
Except people who have millions of stocks in their portfolio will do that with a huge percentage of their stocks, because when you have more stocks, it's easier to do both at the same time.
No. Everyone should do the same strategy. Either you have $1 or $1 billion, you should actually hold it. Like that's like you can bet
what we
against,
see though.
No, because you can bet against American companies' greed. They are the most powerful. Like Portugal invests 40% of their social security on the S&P 500. You are not going to bet against McDonald's and Coca-Cola and Apple. Those are going to get you results on the long term. And this is what
Wouldn't that just make a recession worse, though, when you tie your social security to that?
Absolutely. That's why the FMI had to come to Portugal to actually help with the recession. But that's the thing, right? Especially if it's on the long term. I'm actually hoping that the market crashes because I have a bunch of money that I want to plunge in the market. And the most investors don't look at the market going down as oh my God, look at my money. They look at this is an opportunity for me to buy more.
The thing is, though, with stocks is that there's always opportunities. There's always new businesses that are opening up. And you really just got to, like, look at the fundamentals of these businesses and be like, okay, well, how much debt has occurred in their business, or are they financing it themselves? Are they in a stable market business for long term, or are they just trying to do a quick cash move?
Isn't the real question if this impacts like the actual financial market, not just the stock market at the end of the day? Like if we end up going into a bull or bear, because it's what if confidence in real estate might go up under Trump, but he still had I don't even think he's talked about like housing tax policies or anything like that. And his record before was like he had very like specific taxes on like specific U.S. firms, but not a lot of like general taxes for these things. Almost like he was trying to help his friends get tax breaks. But anyways, I just think it's ridiculous to expect Trump to care about the average person in the economy. He cares about the rich. He cares about himself profiting at the end of the day. He makes that very clear in everything he says.
Yeah, but let's just grant that as true. At the end of the day, these are like 0.001% of like the crowds that are just involved in this dirty business. Think about what's actually going on in your neighborhood. Something that you brought up was property taxes. Property taxes is a county and a district level thing that's implemented. Your property taxes actually influence your neighborhood a lot more than any other tax because it's reinvested into your area on schools, on infrastructure, utilities, and even like your local government facilities like the courthouse and stuff. So you should... Yeah, so a property tax is one of the, I think that is like the best tax to exist out of everything else because it directly influences the general public.
Get rid of it, replace it with a land value tax. Easy.
Property tax technically is. It's like
it's a tax on your property, not the value of the land.
Of your property value. Yeah, it's based off the land and then also the amenities that have been built upon it. But it's all based upon the appraisers of your county to set a valuation of what your property is worth, and then the entire county sets a tax for the year of how much they're going to charge in property taxes, and that's how they accrue the money.
So I'm an economics noob, mind you. So what I might propose might be really dumb. But what if we took all the taxes that people pay out of their paychecks and made employers, like for larger businesses, pay those?
That's not how payroll taxes at the end of the day almost always fall on workers, not employers.
Right, but
it goes half and half. Payroll tax is half and half usually.
Well, but the actual incidence on paper it's half and half, but the actual incidence is usually basically always on the worker because the cost to the employer of hiring you is basically their side of the payroll tax plus your side of the payroll tax. It works out.
All the other costs for having an employee. I mean, it's now at 3.5. No, it went up 3.5. It's 15.3. I have a business. 15.3%.
Well, sure, but like the bottom like 50% of earners pay like basically 0% tax. So,
Close to it.
Like basically,
So,
yeah. Like I think the bottom 2 quintiles are actually like taxed negatively as you know if you take taxes.
So the other corporations,
yeah, they receive.
Sorry, but yeah. So the other half of of
you got to pay insurance for having knuckleheaded employees.
Yeah,
you got to pay insurance for having knuckleheaded employees. They pay a lot of money.
So
and you don't want to pay your part of insurance too. I think people don't look at it. When you see, oh, I'm mad because I'm paying $300 a check, whatever people pay for insurance, just go look at the employer side and you'll understand you're getting away easy. When you see them paying $1,800 for every $300 you pay, you'll be like, okay, thank you. I'm glad I don't have to pay that.
So if employers and employees are in favor that this is a ripoff, why don't they try to get rid of that to the point where your insurance is not connected to your job like every other country in the planet? Why not get rid of it? The employees don't like to pay it. The employers don't like to pay it. Why do they pay it?
That system fails that you're talking about, Fatty. It's an incentive for employers when they offer it the way they do. Who wouldn't want that incentive? Because I don't want no damn Cobra insurance. Cobra insurance, you think I want that? The hell you talking about? You're damn right. Give me what y'all got. Blue Cross. All of that.
Cobra insurance is super expensive.
It's horrible. Yeah. There are other options like healthcare cost sharing, like MediShare. There are other programs like that besides Cobra. Yeah, I'd never get friggin' Cobra for anything.
So why not universal health care and then people pay private if they want to? Like the $3 trillion that you guys spend on Iraq, like you could.
Yeah, we could quit spending that money too. I'm all for it, but
yes, actually, it becomes cheaper. Sister. It's cheaper for you to actually have universal health care than for you to.
Stop it, Fatty. Stop it. I don't want universal health care. I
don't want it either.
Look, let me tell you. Doctors, what you think is going to happen? I need you to be taxed. I need capitalism.
What stops you from going to a private hospital?
All right.
We have universal health care and I still have private insurance. You know what it cost me? I'm an obese motherfucker, $50.
What's worse about our doctors, Gemini?
So my question is why not have the same system?
Okay, how does that make your doctors worse?
The efficiency or the quality of service decreases if there's no incentive to give good quality service.
That's not true.
Private hospital.
Healthcare is a credence good, so it's it doesn't have good market feedback.
Not every doctor has to participate in universal healthcare. That's enough to understand.
I'd like to find a doctor, a very rich doctor to marry. Man-made media TV comes in with the big five. He says Democrats raised $1 billion from the rich is proof we are witnessing a political realignment in real time. Democrats are for the rich corporation.
Most corporations fund both candidates.
Both of the sides work for the corporations. Both of them are corporate Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. But that was an all-time high for a losing candidate. I will say that. That was an all-time high for a losing candidate.
I got a question.
Billy?
When in the last election we had 82 million people vote for Biden, and we had 79 million vote for Trump. Is that right? That close enough to suit y'all?
About right around those. Yeah, those numbers are like super close.
Aren't we missing about 2 million Democrats?
I don't know.
A lot more than that.
Shouldn't we get more than that?
Start with the mail-in ballots. Don't start with the mail-in ballots.
I'm more concerned about these people's safety. They clearly didn't make it to polls, and we need to find them and save them.
Oh, they're fine. They've been dead for 10 years.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them
realize that like nobody would have won the election if we took for like, you know, if not voting counted for voting for nobody, we would have elected nobody.
What are you discriminating against dead people now?
That is the most absurd premise I've ever heard, sir.
Okay, so like if less than 50% of a state votes, of most states vote, like would you say that like someone overwhelmingly like won the election and like has most of Americans' support?
It's only those that vote that are counted.
Well, obviously.
Yeah,
Which,
sure.
by the way,
But I'm
some of the
talking about,
votes
like,
aren't
people
counted
who
yet,
are
so
eligible
Kamala's
to
probably
vote.
gonna.
The nature of voting, sir. That's the nature of voting. The person who gets the most votes wins. Whether it's 6 votes or 6 million votes, it comes down to the same thing.
There's actually
sure.
not
That's
how we
not what I'm
work,
talking
so
about.
Not voting isn't
I
counted
get
as
what
a
you're
vote
saying.
for nobody.
Man, when I was a kid,
I'm
the
analyzing
Smurfs,
the number of non-voters.
let me say this here. Look, when I was a kid, the Smurfs, it was a great cartoon. I enjoyed it a lot because I was young. Now that I'm older, the grown man version of it sucks, right? Because we got Sarah around here. She's putting on lip gloss. Like, I'm not Papa Smurf, Grumpy Smurf. Nobody's paying her any attention. She's being a gracious host. She's listening to this tax talk. Look, y'all need to invest in her. That's how I look at it. We talking about all these investments. But you know what? Nobody's shot their shot. Nobody's like, can I get a one-on-one date? They're smiling. They're flexing their money. They got rich people problems. I'm not in that category. Tic Tac, we got Fatty. These are rich people. I'm just a regular commoner, Sarah. So I'm going to let them continue the conversation. I'm still going to listen to it, though, casually up here. But all I had to do is recognize you for a moment because, Papa Smurf would not approve of this here. And yeah, I don't like the Smurfs anymore, but continue on, fellas.
I feel very out sausaged tonight. Just saying.
You don't always feel that sausage?
I always feel out sausaged.
So how is this different from any other night?
It's not, but I don't know. It just feels like extra and you guys are all talking smart, nerdy shit, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm definitely not a nerd. Ticky Tacky has impressed me. Fatty's a buffoon, but I still love him. Nonfon looks like the poster child for never getting laid. Flow State just got on bond from Mel's enhancement facility, not even a regular jail. Caucasian Sasquatch, he can't be a Sasquatch because they found him eating a whole cow in the back of his house and stuff. And then when it comes to D Darko, I love him. Like if John Nonwick was a character, you would be him. No shades, similar hairstyle, not quite elegant, no guns, not a threat to society. Ticky Tack, I love you. Anybody that wears a mustard shirt and has like a Mr. T, really is balding, but I don't care. We'll just call it a Mr. T mohawk just so you'll feel better about it. Just don't turn sideways because we don't want to see the reality of who you are. And then once again to Grumple, he's doing okay. Look, you are your boy down bad. This is like you're going to be Mission Impossible 47. Like this is where he should have stopped like 20 movies ago, but nobody told him. So Tom Cruise kept on trying to do it. So yeah, Mission Impossible 37. I won't go as far as 47. That's you, Grumple. So nice meeting you, fellas. The outside of the ones I already know who are reckless.
Are you leaving?
Hold on. No. Melanie Cosmic. I apologize.
You need a nap, dude. Like you seem like you need a nap.
Stay there. Don't go. God damn it.
Always need a nap. Always need a nap. Oh God.
I'm the same way.
God.
Fair enough. I'm the same way.
God. This man, that your knees. There's no way you're still having. There's no way you're still actively having sex with knees that bad. Like what I just witnessed is like a broken slinky.
Hey man, I'm on
you know how you put the slinky on the stairs and it never falls.
Like, oh man, that's a rolly chair. OSHA does not approve, sir. That's gonna get a fine.
Man, somebody, where's the Tin Man? Let's get him some oil immediately for every joint in his body. Let's even put it in his ears, like every just possible.
Careful.
Look, no, I'm not leaving. That was just me being lighthearted. I'm back. Let's carry on the
Bad Gemini can see when I'm getting bored out of my fucking mind, and so he came to ruffle my feathers a little bit.
So are we shooting shots? Is that what we're doing?
Shoot your shots.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm actually shooting literal shots.
The Trib one is shooting his shot. He comes in with a big 2. Gemini is cooking. It takes me back. Haha. Win. Thank you, Trib.
Listen, just to be
yeah,
clear,
shoot your shot,
I'm just
Sarah.
a good.
I'm like a third of the way to your requirements. If you're not busy next Thursday.
No.
I'm a good,
Are you-
Christian
are you-
conservative. That's me. I'm waiting till marriage. Okay, that's why I don't get laid. Okay, that's the
Are
reason.
you
Oh yeah,
conservative?
yeah, me too. I have my purity ring, obviously.
I apologize for turning this into confessional. Look, take that up with your local Senate and House. Like, that was not my intention. Like, I'm not the proper authority to help you with this here. I apologize.
Listen, hey, we need the YouTube Pope to come absolve these gentlemen of sin.
Pope.
I am completely free of sin. Okay.
Pope.
What happened?
Pope. We need the Pope.
Sorry, I was not listening while I was screen recording my teabag.
Bless you, child. You know how it works.
Get some holy water. What you need? Who needs a blessing?
These two gentlemen over here who are confessing.
All right, do a Hail Mary, send in a super chat, and bless you. Be on your way. Who else needs some shit? I'm handing out. I'm feeling forgiving now.
Hey, I like this modern vibe. I think people would
This
turn
is
to
hedonist
Catholicism more
flow.
often
The
if
trib
this guy was
one.
online.
I'm so forgiving that I forgive you for calling me hedonist.
Oh goodness!
Shit.
I
At
apologize.
least you perked it up a little. I was getting really bored out of my fucking mind. I'm
We
sorry.
can tell.
You don't like the
I
econ
was-
talk?
But
No one
it's the
likes
male
econ talk.
ego. You get to feeling it. I will say this, Sarah. At least this was not a pissing contest. This was actually real insightful, intellectual conversation. Unfortunately, this is why the good guys finish last, right? Because the guy that you should be entertaining right now, who will have you wealthy in 7 to 10 years, you're bored out of your mind, and this is the problem we have in the dating scene. So, fellas, keep doing what you do.
Well, I tolerate the boring conversations because it's your conversations to have, right? This is your panel. This is your conversation. And I'll sit here happily. I just moderate in this aspect and make sure it's flowing smoothly and making sure that everybody gets their voice heard. But would I willingly have this conversation on a date?
Oh, yeah, you would, right? That's what we're getting out of this.
Obviously, I'm totally a catch.
Yeah, he is. Did you see him open my mouth when I teabagged him?
Damn right.
So Naomi is requesting that I put the fur baby underneath Flo. No problem. You paid for it. You get it. All right.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's kind of like, I think that's kind of a piece of it, right? Like, yeah, I understand.
Where did the Furby go?
The Furby's probably taking a shit.
Okay.
The little
I know.
hamsters.
I don't want
They
the
do that.
Hamsters poop. They poop little pellets, right?
You said
doo doo. They go doo doo.
They do that.
Doo doo. But I think like if it would like, would I choose to sit through this conversation with somebody I'm trying to do other things with? Absolutely not.
Maybe we should go around the panel and everybody should say what sin they ask my forgiveness for. So it's sort of a confession.
All right, confessional time. Starting with you, Caucasian.
I'm just too great. Forgive me.
Denied. Straight to hell.
Thank you. Bless you, my child.
Bless you, my child. My confession is I need a man to give me a reason to shave my legs. I need something to do. That's my confession.
Your confession should be for telling me not to interrupt you while I'm actively interrupting you, and for that you're forgiven. Amen.
But she didn't interrupt me.
Say something long.
Long.
Interrupt. Next.
Nonfon.
My confession is I gave your mother a reason to shave her legs. That's my confession. Okay.
Oh. Well, the joke's
Forgiven
on you,
and straight to heaven because of that. That was a good burn. Straight to heaven for you, Sir Sainthood.
I hope Mama Tomato's not still in the chat and listening, because if she is and she says I'm here, then I will immediately remove you from the panel for
Straight
making your
to
mama
hell,
joke.
maybe. Whose mom were
When?
you talking about? I assumed it was mine, but it might have been yours.
I thought it was mine.
I was talking about flow states,
Just
Mom.
because
But...
you're both egotists.
Okay. Well, if it's flow
Because
states,
you're narcissists.
But it really was all about me. So.
Woo, Naomi's got me. This is why I like Naomi. Yes, ma'am. Don't tell him.
Fatty, you're forgiven for never having a shirt.
I think Naomi needs to confess, but
So
yeah,
my-
go ahead, Fatty.
My confession is I fake an accent and I pretend I live in Europe, but actually I live in Indiana. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, I'm sure you're from Alabama.
I'm from Indiana. You guys got me.
And before the Furby goes, Benedict comes in with the big five. In the last 5 contests, the Democrats secured between 65 to 69 million votes in the presidential election, with the exception of Biden, who got 82. So
That's exactly the question I came in asking.
No, it's clearly because of COVID.
Yeah, we had mail-in ballots.
Well, yeah,
like
it
everyone
is
got such a
sus
mail-in
because
ballot. We had
like,
record turnout.
how did Trump win the popular vote unless it was rigged?
True.
Republicans never win the popular vote. That's suspicious, right?
There's a better candidate to
from
win.
Chuck.
Oh wow, dude! Like, are
Chuck.
you really hide behind the
Shut
blue
up.
flag like that?
I'm reading Chuck's message. Chuck in Tennessee comes in with the big 5. Flo, that holy water, thought that was Grid's 8.
Is it not baby oil?
It's actually,
I
no,
need to
it's-
read these before I read them out loud. Here's
It's actually
to you.
it's
Here's
actually
to you,
just
Chuck.
What the?
This message is sponsored in part by
Melanie.
One
struggle.
more.
Take a
One
bite.
more.
Oh, Sarah, I offer this to everybody. I can do a dramatic reading of your super chats if you would like. No pressure either way.
But I do the sexy ASMR 1-900 fuck a lot.
Yeah,
voice reading my
yours is
super
probably better
chats.
than mine. So
Nobody
please continue.
complains. If you start reading the gentlemen's chats, they're going to think you need to confess a few things. Here's to Chuck again for the membership send out earlier.
this message is sponsored in part by
Yeah, I think
Jesus, I
I
didn't
read
know if
them a lot better.
I didn't know
You don't-
Portia was back. What the fuck?
All right, Furby, confess.
Okay, so this is Flo. Are you sure you want to hear this?
Oh shit.
I'll hear it.
Okay, so this is the long one. You're gonna have to hear me out. So I'm doing this audition, right? And this family
fine.
walks in, and at first they say they're gonna do a singing number, but
Are
apparently
your kids involved in this?
it's a good thing.
Okay.
Well, it depends. Okay,
Well, wait, you're
the
confessing.
kids are fine. The kids are
Is
actually
this
evil.
the aristocrats?
The kids will be evil. So take that how you will. So how did you know what I was about to do? Fucking Flo. I hate you, Flo State. That's actually kind of sick that you knew that it was the aristocrats thing. Okay, anyways, I can't do
And-
it anymore. You call
And
out
for
me.
that, you are forgiven.
Okay, cool.
Bad Gemini, confess.
I watched First 48. I want my lawyer.
No more questions for you. Then you're forgiven.
Uh,
Charges
Dr. Darko, also known as dubbed the other night, Dr. Dickhead, according to the chat, but we're gonna go with Dr. Darko tonight.
I banged Mama Tomato so well that she has to lie about it.
Man, I
Joke.
don't have enough power to forgive that one.
Joke is on you on that
outstrip
one.
the power.
Ticky Tack, confess.
I stampede a herd of cattle through the Vatican.
Oh.
Proved. That's not a sin.
One
That's
gets it.
actually that's actually pretty base.
I want him to bless me. Screw you, Flo.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you might just have won the papacy.
Grumple Stiltskin, confess.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, confession. I have a regret. So in 2016, I placed a wager. I just put up like a Benji on when Donald Trump was trading at 19 cents on the dollar, and liberal tears turned it into a Glock 20 for me. I did not actually place any money. I was very sure 2024. Yeah, this is it. I didn't place any wagers on it, and I feel like I
squandered your talents, like in the parable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was just talent squandering. Yeah. I think that's
you did, but you've already paid you've already gotten punished for it.
Fail.
Yep, and because I have to remember that now and live with it, that's I think an ongoing punishment.
Yep. All right, this wasn't too bad. I think Sasquatch is the only one going to hell, right?
You need to confess to me, Flo.
Yeah, right.
Confess.
What do I have to confess?
He's hiding something behind his sunglasses. There's something he's using.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Look at all that. Of any sins I've committed.
Avoid confession. Can Pope Flo forgive me for liking the horse clip? This one?
What the fuck?
This message is sponsored in part by...
Yes, but I can never forgive Sarah for always leaving the fucking comments up.
I now officially leave the comments up on fucking purpose.
This message is sponsored in part by...
Sarah, I love how naive you are that like that's the only horse clip on the internet someone could be referring to. Like there are some horse clips that you can watch that are definitely worth confessing.
I know that Chuck is specifically referring to the horse clip.
I don't
Ninetales,
know.
this is not a vouch stream, okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
True.
Hey, by the way, Sarah, I do have to head out, but
last words.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, I reached 1,000 subscribers today because of you, Sarah.
Oh, congratulations! I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep
enjoying talking to all of you. Yeah, thanks again, Sarah.
We'll put your link backstage if you want 1001.
One thing non-fun. Do you want to debate on green energy?
No, I want to debate you on green energy.
I bet you guys can email this.
No, I want to debate you on green energy.
This could have been an email.
Green energy is
I'm Patrick.
It's not really my thing. I'd have to do
That's my thing.
research for it, so I'm probably not the best person. We could probably, I mean,
the economy is not is a horrible topic for me. I actually didn't care about the election until 4 days ago.
Since there are at least 3 of you that want to debate on green energy, we just make that next Mod Monday.
Okay.
Are you for it, non-fun?
There's 2 of them.
As a 3 of us are going to be debating green energy on Mod Monday. I don't know what Mod Monday is. I don't know like what.
You don't know what Mod Monday is?
It's a mod thing on Monday.
Moderator Monday.
Like this. It's like this, but it's here on Monday.
It's more structured. There's only 4 of you, and then we have the hot seat coming in.
I bet these all could be emails.
Naomi and Chad is wrong. I'm not solar powered. I'm sex powered.
I don't know. I'll do it. I guess I can do it.
The visuals.
I'll do it, I guess.
Damn. Okay. Well.
I mean.
Sarah, you're right. I'm totally craving for debates. You're right.
I will enthusiastically show up Mod Monday for the.
They don't cater to your bougie side. This is a problem.
Okay, so non-fun Mod Mondays are pretty fun, but they're much more strict. This is Throwdown Thursday, which is usually a lot uglier than this. I'm actually surprised. Everybody's very, very copacetic right now. But Mod Mondays, 4 panelists, just the 4. And then we have the hot seat, and that starts about 30 minutes after you guys have your first 30 minutes, right? So then the hot seat comes in, and then we kind of go into open panel dumpster fire after 2 hours. But Mod Monday is like, it's the debate night. It's where like it's set up. This is what's going on. This is the topic, and this is what we're talking about. The Throwdown Thursdays are shit shows.
Or do you want to like put this on the shelf and maybe do something in December?
Why December?
So it gives non-fun a little more time to figure out the
Does
topic.
Does he need time? To figure
green
out
energy is not my topic. Like.
The way you guys were making it sound was
Listen,
like
they have like 4 days.
No, I'm the one saying it's my topic.
Oh, all right. We can we can skip it.
We'll keep talking about it, okay? I'm down to.
I mean,
Are you down to down?
I'm down
that
to.
date sounds like the topic.
I'm down
Let
to
me
do it at
stop
some
being
point, okay?
flattering to
But
these guys.
Let's debate Mod Monday about debating Mod Monday. That's what we're gonna do.
Sure, I'm down with the metaphysical conversations.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's
I
what
do
it's
gotta
gonna
head
be.
out. But once again,
All right.
thanks. See you guys later.
All right, Nonfon.
If you want to chat with me live, sub here or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch or Kick via the links below. Once again, please like and sub to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support me, and I'll make sure to reply to any question you ask. See you guys next time.